Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the moment we've all been waiting for. It is the grand finale of the TGP2 season 27. We've went from continent to continent, all around the globe, and we've arrived in Europe. We've got Silverstone and Austria, Britain and Austria, two classic racetracks to take you through the final two races of the season. I'm Ginger Andy, and also taking you through these final two races, we have got Dan the man. Dan, it's been quite the ride. We've arrived in Silverstone, a little bit of drizzle to mix things up in a championship battle as well. What more could you possibly ask for?
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? This is what we want, isn't it? A little bit of rain on a championship finale night always adds to the spectacle. And we certainly got it for the quali session here in Silverstone, and I believe we're also going to see it make an appearance during the race as well.
Yep, so we're hearing in our forecast that we might have rain in the race. We've got it in the qualifying, but it's all about the championship battle. That is what it's all about, and let's pick them up. First of all, Mike Noon, a long way back, the rank outsider, the man from the south of England, the man from the poshest corner of England. Mike Noon on 288 points going into this final round. He's a long way back, Dan. His chances very, very slim. Then you've got Jack Pearson in the Mercedes from Haywards Heath, England, pursuing that title. He is 29 points back from the leader, Luca Chiapelli. And that is going to be a tall order from him. And there is, of course, the leader out there just coming into the pits now, Mr. Chiapelli in the AlphaTauri, hailing from the Isle of Man. And he is a 29-point lead, Dan, and it's going to take something very dramatic and very special from Jack Pearson and Mike Noon, and something the complete opposite from Luca Chiapelli to deny him that crown, you feel?
Yeah, well, Mike Noon's pretty much got to win both races, hasn't he, and hope that Luca has a nightmare of a night, and Jack has to at least gain 4 points on Luca in this race alone, otherwise Luca could take the championship right here. So Mike Noon goes third, finally gets a good lap in. He crashed first time round, but gets a good lap in a 136.6. But yeah, as you say, it's looking very good for Luca, but well, anything could still happen, I suppose. Jack might suddenly turn up with an amazing lap. He's about to improve, I think, this time round.
Yep, he is on a lap right now. Jack Pearson needs a big lap here. They've been circling for a number of laps on these intermediate tyres. You know, sometimes it's best to just stay out there, learn the conditions, and just ramp in a couple of laps. And that's what Jack Pearson's done. He's going to come across the line now. It's a 37.0, and I've got to say, 1.3 seconds from pole position. That is not where someone contending for this World Championship should be looking to be, and that is very, very, very disappointing. Mr. Chiapelli is second, Mike Noon is third at the minute, but as you mentioned, Dan, anything can happen, and with the weather supposedly meant to be mixed up tomorrow in the race, you know, it really could throw a curveball for these drivers. But I suppose the key thing is, when he has a bad race, look at Chiapelli, he recovers well, and even if he has two bad races tonight and recovers well, that might be enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen George when he's had those bad races, as you say, Singapore immediately springs to mind, where he always almost seemed like it was all over for him, but then he comes straight back and does a good and gets a good result in. For the likes of Mike Noon, he's had some bad races, particularly in the rain. I remember the wet race in Canada, he had a disaster race and couldn't find his way back, and really that was when his championship really started to take a long walk off a short pier and suddenly decided to just break down entirely. And he's never really found his way back into it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It just seemed to just fall away. As you say, the perfect analogy to sum it up. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if it can turn it around in what remains. But here is Jack Pearson going again. I think he might be on an in-lap. No, he's going again. This is a fourth lap, I think, in a row on these tyres for Jack Pearson. So let's see how he gets on as he negotiates his way through the final couple of corners through Club, and he's actually had to lift out the throttle there. This is not looking spectacular. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Oh, that is spectacular. Ooh. That's a good time. A 1 minute 36.443 for Jack Pearson with 2.5 minutes to go, and that will move him up to third. But I don't think, Dan, he's going to have time to get back round and get a fresh set of boots on. So I can only hope for him. He's got enough ERS and enough fuel to go round and get another lap in, but I'm not too sure he does.
Well, on the telemetry, the fuel light is flashing, so he might not get another lap in. He might have to take it very easy on this lap right now, and then possibly he might have enough fuel to go for one more. But I have to say, if I was him, I think I probably would have pitted at that point and put a new set of tyres on and gone for one last big full lap. But he's 2 tenths behind Luca, and Luca's just coming out the pit lane now for his final run, where he will certainly look to improve. But that lap by Sam Hickey, he's going even quicker right now. In fact, he's a tenth up on this lap right now.
Wow.
He's absolutely flying. He loves these wet conditions. If this is a wet race, he's surely going to be in there for the victory.
Well, he was thanking me for my commentary throughout the season about 20 minutes ago before we got started. A very kind thing to do. And I said, go out there and give me a performance that I'm going to shout about. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's coming round the final corner now, and it's a 35.5. He's way more than half a second clear of the chasing pack, which includes the 3 championship rivals. Championship leader, 6 tenths back. Second in the standings, almost 9 tenths back. Third in the standings, a second back of young Sam Hickman, who is really sticking a claim here, and at the minute he's looking like the man to challenge in the future in TGP2. That is very, very impressive.
If this was just a wet championship, I think Sam would absolutely storm it. He won that race in Canada that I just mentioned, and look at that lap he's just put in round here. This is brilliant stuff, brilliant wet weather pace by Sam Hickey. Jack Pearson has pitted, so that's it for Jack. It's over.
It's over. It's third at best on the grid for Jack Pearson, and there's plenty of drivers out there who could knock him off that perch. So look at Chiapelli about to start an outlap. We've got Mike Noon just behind him on the road on an outlap. We've got Baza out there too. He's had a fine session as well, hasn't he? Running up in 5th at the moment in this order, and I will say he's one race away from hitting 200 races in TGP, and that will come in Austria next week. I should also mention, Mr. John, today 450 races this weekend in Silverstone. What a mammoth achievement that is.
Quite remarkable, as Say Sports retires from the session. And we should also point out, look at how well the Renaults are doing once again in 8th and 9th going into these final runs.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll get time to speak about Renault after last week. That was incredible what they managed, especially from Tom Penguin. Mr. Chiapelli, by the way, 3 and a bit tenths up on his previous best for the first sector. This is looking very, very strong. This could be potential front row pole position material here from Luca Chiapelli. He's finding time through that first sector. How is Mike Noon doing? He's finding time as well. Nearly 3 tenths found in the first sector. It's a track drying, Dan.
It may well be, but he was still 3 tenths down on Luca's first sector, Mike Noon. So Luca certainly has the advantage at the moment as he goes through Magden Beckett. Oh, look at that, wrestling the car, trying to make sure the rear end doesn't go. Let's see what the middle sector is. Oh, he's gone a little bit wide there through Chapel. 109.2, that is quick.
That's quick. He's 6 tenths up on his previous best. That's almost enough to overhaul Sam Hickman. If he's clean, if he's tidy through the final part of the lap, the championship leader might just be able to put one hand on that trophy with pole position here. Round the final corner, the man from the Isle of Man chasing a pole position in the penultimate race of the season as championship leader. He knows he wants it. Will he get it? He will! By half a tenth. Look at Chiapelli steals pole unless Mike Noon could do something very special. He's finding time. It won't be enough though, surely. It won't be enough. It won't even be enough to overhaul Sam Hickman. And look at Chiapelli, the championship leader, has stuck it on pole position here at Silverstone. What a lap, what a time under such pressure.
Brilliant stuff, and well, if anything, Mike Noon was consistent through the lap. He was 3 tenths off all the way through it, and even across the line as well, and he will start in 3rd place. He's ahead of Jack Pearson, though, which makes the championship even easier for Luca.
Yep, very, very important to get ahead of Jack Pearson for Mike Noon and for Luca Chiapelli, as you say, Dan. But it looked like Sam Hickman would not be overhauled, but he has been at the end of the session by the championship leader. Mr. Chiapelli takes pole position and a chance to win the title in tomorrow's race. Sam Hickman starts from 2nd. He could be the spanner in the works. He could end up being Luca's rear gunner. Mike Noon starts from 3rd with Jack Pearson down in 4th. Baza is in 5th with Chris Thurgood in 6th. Chris Johnson starts 7th, and as you mentioned, the Reynolds doing well again, both in the top 10 with Zafro 8th and Penguin 9th. Dom Smith starts 10th. Neil Jack is 11th. Sayre Sports 12th. Mr. John, Angels versus Death, Blair Grills, Stereogram, M Chef, Bossman Sean, Red Bull Kim, and I missed the one at the very bottom there, Dan.
Well, we had Bossman Sean and Indecisive, who both got disqualified in that session, strangely enough. Bossman Sean was doing really well. I think he was in 3rd place before his disqualification for blocking the pit lane, so bit of a strange one, but both of the Alphas getting disqualified. The constructors are also still up for grabs, we should say. Red Bull are 50 points behind Mercedes, and Red Bull are 3rd and 5th on the grid, with Dom down in 10th, and Jack in between the two Red Bulls. So Red Bull can still be there for these constructors as well.
Yep, they sure could. This is huge then. Round 21 out of 22. And Luca Chiapelli has a 29-point lead over Jack Pearson. If he can keep it above 25, he will be champion after this race today. He will not need to go to a nail-biting title finale in Austria. It's gone to the final week, but will it go to the final race? He starts from pole. It's exactly where he wants to be. The pressure is on his rivals. The chase is on. So then, the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. It's round 21 out of 22 in this championship. The 5 red lights are on, and we are going. Sam Hickman has clearly jumped the start for Haas. An absolute disaster from him. He just races away from the front, but it's Luca Chiapelli who will, in essence, be the net leader. We've got a Mercedes running wide. No, it's a Red Bull of Mike Noon running off the track, and Jack Pearson immediately gets up into 3rd place, and Mike Noon picks up a time penalty straight away. An absolute disaster there for him. It's Sam Hickman then with that jump start in the lead, with Chiapelli 2nd, Jack Pearson 3rd, and Mike Noon in 4th. And actually, he's being attacked by his teammate of all people. So much for a rear gunner. Baz had decided last minute to back out behind Mike Noon, and I think the team would have been on the radio telling him to do so, Dan.
Well, if that was a horse race, they'd delay it, wouldn't they? They'd go again, because that one horse was way ahead of all the others. Sam Hickey, I don't know what happened there, but he has took a massive jump start and will have to come in for the drive-through. I don't think anybody else jumped, though, with him, which is, thankfully, which is good for the race, I suppose. Mike Noon, though, as you say, getting that penalty, he immediately caught the first corner. Oh, and he's nearly lost it! He nearly lost it, he's Baz is through!
Yeah, Baz is through now. Whether he meant to pass him the first time, it won't matter. He's passed him this time for sure. And Mike Noon drops 5th place, and showing that ragged edge, that little bit of rough around the edges we've seen from Mike Noon so often this season. A little bit erratic at times, and he's done it again. He's made a mistake, and he's down to 5th, and his championship hopes have fallen away as Sam Hickman comes in to serve that drive-through penalty. But here we have the 2 Red Bulls dueling here at Silverstone, with Alex Zaffro and Tom Penguin up to 6th and 7th. Make that 5th and 6th. What a season they're having.
Well, his championship hopes now, Mike Noon, are rapidly disintegrating, and
there's the rain.
Is it raining already? It's already raining on lap 2.
Wow, unbelievable scenes here. I'm looking out the commentary box window, and that is indeed spots of rain falling from the sky and onto my commentary box window. We've got people reaching for the ponchos, reaching for the umbrellas, reaching for the jackets here at Silverstone after just 2 laps, not even 2 laps of racing in what could be a massive race in the final week of this championship decider. Unbelievable stuff. Chiapelli out front at the minute by 7/10, but he's going to be the first one to arrive at the slippery spots. Jack Pearson has him as a reference, and that is the problem with being the leader in these slightly changeable conditions.
Luca would love just a nice, peaceful, boring race, wouldn't he? Just cruising to the finish. But that's not what's going to happen. What have you seen?
Mike Noon sliding big time there, going through Cops Corner. There's clearly a lack of grip, and now Alex Zaffro is on his case. Oh, the drivers need to be oh so careful. And it really is apparently raining quite hard by the looks of it, to have them struggling so quickly. Could this be a race where we have the wet tyres in use, Dan?
Well, there is a possibility that it might dry up as well by the end of the race, is apparently what the forecast was saying. So I don't know what's going to happen. Luca's in and Jack's in, so very early stops. For the wet tyres then, presumably.
Very, very early stops. I'm shocked by that. So Luca and Jack Pearson in. Mike Noon's came in as well. Alex Zaffro carries on. He's going for the brave approach. He now leads the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Alex Zaffro. Sir Tom Penguin shines one week. Alex Zaffro the next.
Well, did you see that? The DRS was enabled at the start of lap 3, and then literally within seconds was disabled. So it looks like the guys who pitted have actually made absolutely the correct decision, as a racing point's gone way off their stereogram.
So cars off everywhere. They're all going to be struggling for grip like crazy out there. Could it be an inspired call for someone on a rainy day like this to just jump and straight into the pits and put a set of wet tyres on it? It's raining that heavily, Dan. It might be the right option. Look at them swirling around for grip in the loop section. Angel versus Death is dicing with Death down there. He's all over the track. He's having a spin almost. Goodness me. And that's a big, big moment. But look at this. They're all struggling for grip. It might be worth a set of wets here at this rate. It's
Wow,
so
it has come
quickly.
down so quick, yeah. This so look at Say Sports, he's nearly round to Lovefield. Oh, he's just saved it. Oh, that's shot's off.
He's off, he's in the wall, and they're all struggling, they're all going off. They just simply, it's not any grip out there at all. It's far too wet. Bossman Sean across the racetrack rejoins. Mr. John's up to third now. Alex Zaffro, let's go on board with him. Go on, Dan.
Oh, look at Luca and Jack down to make the way through the traffic. There's cars everywhere.
Angel versus
Oh, Williams into death round.
Yeah, he clipped Luca, and now look at Stenograph. Look at Stenograph. He's off the road as well. And Jack Pearson and look at Chiapelli. Unbelievably, have managed to negotiate their way through it. I don't know how they managed it, but they've done it. Luca certainly took a swipe in the side from one of the spinning cars. Absolute drama here on lap 3 at Silverstone, and it is so wet. Alex Afro is in, Sayer Sports is in, Mr. John is in. Will they go for the wet tyre here?
Well, I'd love to see an onboard of Luca or Jack's point of view from that lap there, because they were having to go through about 50 mobile chicanes there with the cars going so slow on the dry tyres. That was incredible. And Jack did pick up a penalty, though, of course, which is terrible for him. Very good for Luca, though, in terms of the championship.
It looks like his intermediate tyres from those that pitted. Nobody has yet attacked with a set of wets. And Jack Pearson sliding there in the background behind Luca Chiapelli, but just about keeps it all under control. And everyone is just struggling like crazy to get back to the pits in time. I can't believe I've not got a safety car after all that. Absolute mayhem. But it is Luca Chiapelli as it all settles down in the lead. The championship leader doing what he needs to do to win this championship a round before the finish, ahead of Jack Pearson in second, who simply has to get ahead to prolong it for one race more.
And of course he's going to have to pull away even more now as well. If he was to get ahead with that penalty, he's going to have to find 3 seconds to go along with it, as pretty much everyone now, unsurprisingly, is on the intermediate tyres. Stereogram just making his way in the pit. He had a very poor lap there, struggling a lot. But Neljak's done well with this tyre decision. He's up into 5th place. It's worked well for him, as it did in Azerbaijan last week.
Yeah, he's having a good purple patch, isn't he, as Neljak, absolutely flying along. Can he make it back-to-back podiums? I mean, that would be something. Second last time out, of course, with the unbelievable Tom Penguin coming home in third. I don't think we see that today, but you just never know the way this race is panning out. We're only 4 laps in, Dan, and we've had enough highlights in it to fill an entire Formula 1 YouTube video. Unbelievable stuff. And it's Chiapelli leading by 1.2, and he's keeping that gap where he needs to at the minute. Let's shuffle back in the order to Alex Zaffro, who's attacking one of the other championship contenders. This triple threat of a championship battle is about to be a doubles match pretty soon. And here we go, Alex Zaffro passing Mike Noon, and he's through and ahead. Mike Noon tries to fight it. He fights it very well, in fact, does Mike Noon. Zaffro round the outside of Mike Noon. Has he got the traction? Has he got the grip? Has he got 6th place? Mike Noon is just not giving it up, and somehow finds the grip out there to get back in front. But he is being hassled and harried quite considerably by both Renault drivers, and he's actually got a little bit of wing damage there as Mike Noon, which kind of explains why both Renaults are all over him like a rash.
It's amazing how he managed to hang it round the outside though as well, the final corner there, but even with that wing damage as well, that's quite incredible. But he's in 6th place, and Alex Zaffro, well, he might be able to do his work colleague a bit of a favour here, Dom Smith, if he gets past him, because it will make it even more difficult for Red Bull to seal or at least gain on Mercedes in the Constructors.
Yep, you're absolutely right. So we continue to watch this battle. Baza, by the way, 9/10 behind Jack Pearson. What a race he's having as well. Could he be on for a shock result in his 199th start in TGP? 8/10 off, he's gaining as well. He's gaining.
He is, yeah. He is, and I think Jack was having a bit of a few issues there through Maggots and Beckett's, but as you say, also, of course, he is also going for the Constructors, obviously, in that Red Bull, gaining on the Mercedes, and yeah, right now it looks more like Baz is going to approach Jack before Jack approaches Luca.
Yeah, and Baz looks like he's going to approach both of them at this rate. He's flying. Oh, so here we go. As Mike Noon again on the inside, and he breezes past Mike Noon, who cannot defend this time. He's going to try and go right round the outside into Stowe corner. That would have been brave, but he's unable to get it done, and Zaffro is up into 6th position. Mike Noon now in a Renault sandwich, and Tom Penguin is next to attack him. You're absolutely right. This championship has just fell off the edge of a cliff for Mike Noon, hasn't it?
It has indeed. It's such a shame, really. But look at the rain. The rain's coming down even heavier now. That is really getting heavy, that rain now.
It really is. And we could find ourselves in a situation where they're on wet tyres before the end of this race. It's absolutely bucketing down as Mike Noon tries the switchback to get on the inside of Alex Zaffro there. He's unable to get it done, and Zaffro has it covered, and with Mike Noon having so much damage on his car, he really needs a safety car and a little bit of heavier rain, or the rain stopping, just to mix it up a little bit, because right now, in the status quo, with things panning out the way they are, he's on the run, he's in the grass, he's in the runoff, and things just go from bad to worse for Mike Noon. He drops to 8th now, as the other Renault of Sir Tom Penguin says thank you very much, and takes the place. It might not be snowing, but Sir Tom Penguin still knows his way around a racetrack, even in the rain.
I just can't believe what's happened to Mike Noon in the second half of this season. It's such a shame, as I say, now down to 8th place. Indecisive's doing well in 9th. I assume he pitted first time round for the Inters. Yes, he did. And he's up into 9th place after, of course, being disqualified and starting at the very back. So good stuff for him. Another penalty for Mike Noon. It's just fallen apart as Series Sports picks up a penalty as well. The gap between the top three still fairly consistent, though. It's about a second separating them.
Yeah, Baza must fancy his chances here. As we now, having you spoke about Series Sports a moment ago, we'll go on board with him in the Ferrari. He's attacking Blair Grills for 10th place. What would be the final points paying position, but the man we're on board with, Sears Sports, has a mastermind plan in TGP to bring in the Joe Sayer point system. That's exactly what he's done, and I've got to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of the system, but he likes it, and so does Red Bull Kim. He's a massive fan of the Joe Sayer point system. Mike Noon, interestingly, has pitted, and he's put the wets on, so this is it. He realises it was all over. He just has to fling the kitchen sink at it, go for something completely different, and see how it goes. And Mike Noon has gone onto the wet compound of tyre, as has Stereogram. So let's see if this will work. Dan noted a moment ago that the rain was getting heavier, and Mike Noon has now rolled the dice. Let's see if he can get lucky here at Silverstone.
Yeah, it's a big risk, especially with such a long pit lane here. So if you commit to making a decision of switching tyres, you really are committing to making a big decision. So we'll track his times and see how he gets on. I have to say, right now, it looks pretty difficult.
Would you say it's crossover point, or just not quite there yet?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Oh, I thought Luca nearly lost it there. I think I'm having a little bit of lag, which is making it look like cars are flying off all the time.
The
gap is definitely closing between the top three.
Yeah, it really is closing in by half a second. Jack's closed it by half a second, and Baz has closed half a second on Jack. The front three then, down the start-finish straight, all together in a line. What a story it would be if Baza could get himself in amongst these title contenders and take a shock victory. They have got a lot of pressure on their hands. They have got a lot at stake. Meanwhile, Baza does not. He can go for it, but the problem for Jack is he simply cannot let Baza get through, because if Baza gets through on Jack, even if he gets through on Luca and Jack passes Luca, second is not enough points. If Luca's third, he will still be 26 behind, so he needs to beat Luca to first, not to second. So even if Baza gets in the middle of it, he's in trouble. If he wants Baza in there, it needs to be Jack leading with Baza third. And we've got a yellow flag out there. Sam Hickman and Mr. John, perhaps.
Mr. John. Yeah, Mr. John's round.
Oh dear. He's going again, though. Back in 12th place there, Mr. John. Quite the field spread with all these changeable conditions. But he's back up and running in P12 with Bossman Sean now hunting him down, as Sam Hickman has reeled in Sayer Sports, who's not yet got through on Blair Grills, and he's almost pushing Sayer Sports through the corner. He is pushing him through it, and he's now on the inside through Woodcut, and he's now ahead and up into the top 10 as Sam Hickman. Joe Sayer not too pleased about that, to have lost the place. He'd been hoping to get ahead of Blair Grills before Sam Hickman got to him. He's failed to do that, and now Sam is up into 10th place, and he will now set about Blair Grills. And the way he's going at the minute, that should be easy pickings.
Well, Mike Noon's pit. Oh, Jack nearly losing it there at the final chicane, but he's just got away with it. Baz has closed in a little bit more. In fact, he's half a second now within him. Mike Noon's pace on the wet tyre as well. He was sort of keeping up with Shepherd, remaining around 13 seconds behind.
Oh, that's a big dive from Sam Hickman on Blair Grills into still corner. Brave, aggressive, but he's got it done. No contact, and he's up into 9th position. And now Joe Sayers up the inside of Blair Grills as well, and he's got it done. So Blair Grills dropping a couple of places. But yes, you were saying about Mike Noon.
Yeah, so the gap was remaining fairly consistent, so it wasn't like he was losing a huge amount of time. So I have to say, probably pretty even right now between the crossover points, I would say. But there's 4 laps to go, so I'm not really sure there's any point pitting now unless the rain really, unless we get absolute monsoon conditions.
Yeah, in fact, Angels versus Death, I think, has got ahead of Mike Noon. Has Mike Noon had an off?
And he's just gone off. Yeah, he's gone off.
Yeah, well, that's it for this championship hopes. It was kind of already it, but he's about to have it rubbed into his wounds, the salt, by Red Bull Kim, the Danish Viking, coming up onto the back of Mike Noon. And this is a sobering moment for Mike Noon, the Danish Viking, Red Bull Kim, on the attack and potentially going for a move in a moment here. That just shows you the plummet down the order Mike Noon has suffered this afternoon, and it's just gone from bad to worse. But his Red Bull teammate, meanwhile, look at this, 3/10 off the back of Baza and off the back of him, and he's chasing him down and looking at taking the result away from him, taking that second place away and rubber stamping it for Luca Chiapelli.
Another great move by Sam Hickey down Cops on indecisive there. He's flying through. Shame he had that jump start, of course. He could have been right up there. We know how well he does in these wet weather conditions. Oh, and Jack again through Abbey is just sliding all over the place.
He really is, and he's really struggling to keep that car in check. 1.8 now the gap to Luca. Things are looking desperate. Things are looking over, to be honest, for Jack Pearson. Luca's not even picked up a time penalty. He's cruising out front, and he's on course to wrap the championship up 1 race before its conclusion. If he can just keep it on the island and not make any mistakes. It does appear to be drying up slightly now. That heavier rain appears to be abating.
Yeah.
And that just means to show you that it's just not worked out for those guys on the wet tyres at all, particularly Mike Noon, who even under the Joe Sayer point system doesn't look like he's going to pick up any points.
Alex Afro's gone into the back of Neljak.
And he's down.
And Neljak's going to lose a load of positions. Oh, that's such a shame.
Neljak tumbling down the order, and now Sir Tom Penguin has been allowed through by Alex Zafro.
And Baz is in second.
And Baza, yeah, he is. So Jack Pearson has either made a mistake or Baza's got through somewhere on the racetrack and is up into second place. Baza putting in a stunning performance here at Silverstone. Just a little too late, though, in terms of catching Luca, I would feel. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really close as well with the constructors, with Mercedes as well going into this final race, of whether they're going to clinch it. I think they might just get it with the Joe Sayer point system, with Dom Smith being there in 13th place, picking up 2 points as well. I think it might just be enough for them to clinch it at this race.
Yep, it might just be enough to clinch it. We'll have to wait and see. But at the minute, things looking good for the driver. Out front, the man from the Isle of Man, Luca Chiapelli, leading by 2.5 seconds over Baza and Jack Pearson. This championship is looking rubber stamped. But in TGP, anything can happen. It's not over just yet. We've got yellow flags out there still. Why is that? Neljak again, maybe? It was
Alex Afro. He had a little moment at the final corner and lost the position to Neljak. In fact, I think he might have actually been given the position back. I wonder, maybe to Neljak in 6th place there. But 2 laps to go, and we haven't had any retirements, which I have to say, this wet race, fair play to all the drivers.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm actually stunned that has happened. I did not expect that at all, but that is what we're left with, folks. 20 cars still circulating here at Silverstone. That is excellent to see. As Alex Zafro,
and no safety car either, or virtual safety car.
Yeah, well, no retirements, no safety car. And
yeah,
worked out very well. And Red Bull Kim, by the way, hats off to him. He's just overtaken one of the contenders in the championship, Mike Noon. Red Bull Kim flying here at Silverstone up into 16th place ahead of Mike Noon. Well done, Red Bull Kim.
That was Red Bull Kim overtaking the driver with the most wins of all time in TGP2 history, folks.
Well, that's a reason to celebrate for Red Bull Kim, I think. Beer tonight, Mr. Kim. Get the Carlsbergs out in Denmark. Very happy about that manoeuvre. Well done, sir. Anyway, lap 12.
Although he's back through. He's back through. Mike Noon's back through. They're having a great battle, actually.
Let's pick it up. Let's pick it up then. Let's pick it up. Let's have a look. Mike Noon down the inside on Red Bull Kim. He's done it. Red Bull Kim. Ring round the outside he goes. And Red Bull Kim on the inside as we watch from this helicopter shot. He's battling with the man who's won the most races in TGP2 history. And the Danish Viking says, no, Mike. This is my day at Silverstone. I'm going through. And he is up into 16th place, and Mike Noon has a look up the inside on Kim, and they're still going side by side. Awesome stuff between them.
Oh no! Sits on Penguin spun. Sorry, Andy. Sits on Penguin from 5th place has spun.
Oh, it's a disaster for Tom Penguin, the hero in Azerbaijan in Baku a week ago. It's an absolute mare. He spun it in the loop section with 10 points seemingly in the bag. He's dropped it all the way down to 8th position. Through goes Neiljack, through goes Zafro, through goes Hickman, and he will be kicking himself. Disaster for Sir Tom Penguin.
That's a real shame, isn't it? Neiljack there will be happy. He's back in the position now where he was before. He had that instant with Zafro back in 5th place. We've got a few penalties ahead as well, but it's a 17-second gap, so I don't think it's going to be any sort of closing in there. Shepard's out the race. He retired in the pit lane, though, as Luca Giapelli is about to head on to his final lap. The final lap before he wins the championship, I suspect.
Well, here he goes then. The man from the Isle of Man. The man who throughout this season has been Mr. Consistent. I said at the start of the season, we said, Dan, in TGP2, if you are consistent, you keep your nose clean, you do not pick up time penalties, you're in a very strong position to win the World Championship. Luca Giapelli was steady at the start of the season, but he's really picked up form from then on. He started winning races time and time again, and he really is absolutely on course here for this title, and it's a deserving title as well. He's in the loop, he's in Luffield now. All the fans are on their feet in the grandstand cheering him on here at Silverstone as he heads round a lap, and at the end of it will crown him the champion. Here he goes then down the old pit straight into Copse Corner, and he's been so consistent. He's been super fast at times as well. Even today, all his rivals falling by the wayside. If it's either penalties or mistakes, he keeps his nose clean. He keeps it pointing in the right direction. And as he makes his way through Chapel Curve and down the hanger straight for the final time, he can almost smell the champagne. He can almost taste it. He can almost put both hands on the TGP2 championship again. Here he goes then, into the final part of the lap. The flags are waving here at Silverstone. The fans are on their feet. The air horns are blowing above the sound of the V6 engines. Luca Giapelli from the Isle of Man rounds the final corner and wins the British Grand Prix and the TGP2 Championship once again. A magnificent performance. He beats Baza to second over the line. Jack Pearson will be third over the line, but it's going to be no title for Jack Pearson this year. It's all about this man in the AlphaTauri, Luca Giapelli, Dan.
Fully deserved, and what a drive as well to take the win as well. It was calm, collected, and he absolutely deserves it. We still got fights going on through the field here.
Oh, we do. Up to the line is Massa versus Hamilton across the line here. Hickman just misses out, and Sir Tom Penguin, despite the spin that dropped him to 8th, has found himself back up into 6th. And Alex Zafra, meanwhile, has a nightmare. He's in a nightmare. He's got a puncture? No, he's not. He's down in 10th.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I had the penalty for pit lane speeding, but Sam Hickman tried to make a move on Neiljack for 5th place on the final lap into Luffield and spun round. They made contact, so he was down to 8th on the final lap, Sam Hickman. But if he didn't have that drive through, he would have been right up there fighting for the victory. 7th place, considering he had the drive through around Silverstone as well with the long pit lane. That's quite amazing.
Yeah, arguably the longest pit lane on the entire calendar. I think it might be, in fact, and he's managed to recover to 7th, and what a job he's done there. And he's still had a few incidents in between then. But it all hail that man on your screen now. Look at Giapelli. Pressure was on, and he delivered. You know, it was just fantastic. Bang! Pole lap right at the end of the session. There he is, waving his hands in the cockpit. In the race, changeable conditions, just kept his head, did the right things at the right time, and wraps up the TGP2 World Championship. An excellent performance. And there they are on the podium, Dan.
Just want to point out as well, he only had two, or so far anyway, he only had 2 pole positions in the entire season as well. So he really was the Sunday man, wasn't he? And it's his 8th win of the season. So 2 poles, 8 wins. Just shows how much race pace he had.
Yeah, incredible race pace. And that's it. It's not all about raw speed. We saw Mike Noonan rack up so many poles, especially at the start of the season. But he really had hit form in the second half of the season and really pulled clear Luca Chiapelli and is a deserving winner of the TGP2 title. It's a shame it didn't go to the last race, but you can't fault him. He deserves to win it now. He's been so strong in the second half of the season, and Jack Pearson and Mike Noonan just haven't been able to live with him. Luca Chiapelli wins. A big call out to Baza. What a performance that is, coming home second for Red Bull with Jack Pearson in third. Chris Johnson fourth. Neil Jack steady again to come home in fifth, despite being knocked off by Zaffro. He recovered well to P5. Tom Penguin will be kicking himself. It could and should have been P5, but it's sixth in the end. Good recovery after the spin. Sam Hickman recovered well from the pit lane as well. A race of recoveries, isn't it? Comes home seventh. Bossman Sean eighth. Indecisive. He'll be delighted with that in ninth. Alex Zaffro coming home in 10th. Another driver who was hoping for a stronger result. Blair Wells was 11th. Sear Sports 12th. Dom Smith 13th. Angel versus Death. Red Bull Kim, who we saw jostling in 15th. Mr. John, Chris Thurgood, Mike Noon, Stereogram, and M. Shep came home in 20th place. But Dan, look at Giapelli, World Champion, but is he your driver of the day? I think there's a special mention out there for the likes of Indecisive, Baza, and Sam Hickman as well, recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. I think just in terms of consistency and not making errors here, I'd have to give it to Chiapelli, wouldn't you? But yeah, still some great results in that race for the likes of Tom Penguin, as you say, and Nell Jack. Sam Hickman fighting his way through as well, and the two Alphas, despite starting at the very back. But it was that crucial moment, wasn't it, making that pit stop early on. We thought it was too early. It was actually the perfect time for it. And was Bossman Sean spun, didn't he, when everybody else came in, or when the top guys came in first time round on those dry tyres, and still managed to come home in the points. So decent stuff for him as well. But yeah, Luca, really the class of the field.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. We said it, didn't we, at the start of the season? He just keeps his nose clean. He just keeps it tidy. You know, the percentage game, and in a wild series like TGP2, it's just the right approach. Jack Pearson sometimes a little bit rash, picks up the penalties. Yes, he picked up fewer penalties this year, but still the errors crept in when Lucas didn't. Mike Noon got the pace too erratic though, just too erratic in TGP2. You cannot be that erratic in TGP2 in races with some of the moves, and it's cost him dear. His form is erratic, isn't it? It's up and down, and
yeah,
that's what's cost him dear. And look at just playing that level-headed game has won the title, and that's exactly how we expected it to pan out if he drove like that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And again, I mean, Mike Noon didn't even get points, did he, in that race? Just such a shame for him.
Yeah, and
it's just very quickly trying to work out the constructors as well, and I'll be able to tell you if Mercedes have clinched it. Just give me a few moments, I'll have that for you as well.
Okay, well that'll be good to hear. On the constructors front, Red Bull were certainly fighting hard to try and stay in that battle. But here we are at Austria then, heading to another track. And Dan, we always love to do our little track walk or a little discussing about a track, and it's usually a track that I don't really enjoy, but tonight it's a track I think we both enjoy. It's a short one. It's a lap in under 70 seconds. It's probably the shortest calendar in terms of lap time and distance on the entire calendar, the Red Bull Ring. And yeah, I think it will provide plenty of exciting action, and I'm sure we'll get round to that track walk very soon as the drivers are just loading in now. And it's also another track that we could see a little bit of rain. We've seen it at Silverstone, a plenty, and Austria, often one that provides a little bit of drizzle and rain. Plenty of on-track action with dry or wet as well in terms of overtakes as well. But as we load in, we'll find out the weather. It was dry last night for both races in TGP1, but let's see what we're set for as we get ready for qualifying. And look at that. It is absolutely chucking it down. That is about as heavy a rain shower you can get.
Wow, this is going to be like Styrian Grand Prix, isn't it? The quality session there. It is absolutely pouring. I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest, because we had a brilliant quality session yesterday in the dry around here, just constant laps after laps improvements. But well, they're going to have the work cut out around here in this pouring rain for the next 18 minutes.
Well, this is going to
be full wets, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, full wets. I think they might need water skis. Goodness me, it's absolutely chucking it down out there. But we've got a few cars braving the weather and coming down pit lane. We'll get on board with one in a few moments' time. But
Just to say that the constructors has been clinched for Mercedes. They're 5 points clear. They can't be caught after the 49 points is the gap. So Mercedes do get the constructors. So bit of crumb of comfort possibly for Jack.
Yeah, well, I don't think he'll be caring that much.
Yeah.
If I'm honest. But yeah, I suppose Constructors' Championship. Well done to he and Dom Smith for sealing that championship. And Dom Smith just doing a better job than Mr. John as that number 2, I suppose, and getting a few more points than John. And that's what's been enough to carry that team over the line. Sorry, not Mr. John. Red Bull was Mike Noon. Sorry. So Baza. That's a really good job then, isn't it, from the Mercedes team, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. It's a really solid job by Mercedes, and they fully deserve it just as much, of course, as Luca deserves his championship as well. And he is out on track now, as well as most of the other drivers to get the first taste of this fully wet Austria circuit. Usually the quickest lap time of the season. I don't think it's going to be the quick lap time of the season this time around. Yeah, the Monaco as well was a wet quali, which is also a quick lap.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see how it goes. But
it is a dry race, by the way.
A dry race. Well, that's good to know. But I've got to say, it is full wet and it is very heavy rain. But on the racing line, it doesn't look too treacherous, Dan, doesn't it? When you go on board, it actually looks all right out there.
Actually, I was watching Luca now. It does seem quite calm, doesn't it? There's not much really going on. But that was just his outlap. Let's see what happens when, they really put the loud pedal down. And although he's through turn 1 very nicely indeed, looks pretty decent so far.
I wonder if this could be the best of the conditions. Could it be one of those ones? Who knows? Everyone out, well, the majority of drivers are out there. We'll wait and see. But Luca's gone through that first sector. Tippy-toe, and Red Bull Kim just up in front has tippy-toed his way into the barrier. So a disaster for RBK. He's sent spinning round.
It's easy enough in the dry to lose at that corner, isn't it? So no surprise that he's managed to lose it there in the wet. I imagine it must be incredibly tough through there around the end, these conditions.
Yeah, and I should also mention Red Bull Kim, traditionally a driver that runs no assists, and I've got a lot of respect for him for that. He's not the quickest, but he does go full on no assists for the ultimate experience with his wheel, and fair play to him. And that also partially explains why he's lost it up there, because I don't think there'll be too many drivers in TGP2 that go full no assist.
And Luke has just invalidated his lap around the penultimate corner, turn 9. Turn 8 or turn 9, as we're saying, it's got 9 corners or 10. I think it's usually 9, isn't it, that you go for these days, as Luca will then have to go once again, but I'm sure he's got the fuel in the car to do so.
Yeah, well, here he goes then, climbing up the hill. And this is the corner that disputes whether it's 9 or 10 turns, because it's not really a corner for Formula 1 cars, but they say on the motorbikes it's a real challenging corner. So that's why it's a little bit of a discussion about how many turns it is. But look at Chiapelli, having invalidated that first lap, is going again. Then this little run down the hill here, and another opportunity to overtake it. And it does pretty good racing, this, because you can go right round the outside, you can cut back on the inside, and you can sweep down the hill. The track's wide enough down here, Dan, isn't it, to go side by side, isn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, as you were saying before, we just tend to be the second track, always seems to be one that we're not really fans of, but I mean, I absolutely love this circuit. I'm not really quick around here, but I absolutely love this track. It's almost makes me feel a little bit nostalgic as well, because this was a track on the calendar when I was a kid watching F1. I was very young, and obviously it moved off the calendar, didn't it, in 2003 was the final race, and then came back once Red Bull bought the circuit in 2014. It came back on the calendar, and I think the F1 calendar is a better place for it, quite frankly. I love this circuit.
I think you're absolutely spot on, Dan. I don't think I could say any more than what you've said there. It's a fantastic racetrack. It's something we don't see in modern Formula 1 tracks enough. That undulation, that massive uphill climb, the massive downhill swoops. We don't see it often enough these days. We got a lot of
gravel traps.
Yeah, gravel traps as well. But in particular for me, it's the picturesque setting, the uphill, the downhill of a traditional racetrack. You get this you get that at Spa as well, don't you? Not so much up and down at Monza, but you get that kind of you know, that kind of, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Old school feel to track
Yeah.
what you would with it going through the forests and, you know, the country, and I love it. And that's certainly what you get with this racetrack. And yeah, I'm glad to have it back in the calendar. You're absolutely spot on. I mean, there's nothing better than a racetrack like this. It's one that I can relate to with you. We're of a similar age, Dan. And yeah, I missed it when it went away in the calendar. I was like, oh, I love this little racetrack. It's only a minute long, and then it disappeared for a while, and then it came back. And it was really, really exciting when it came back as well. And I'm glad that it's a permanent fixture, as you say. Across the line, though, for Luca Chiapelli, he's currently third quickest, 1.5 off the pace, and it's Bossman Sean and Mike Noon leading the way at the minute. I don't think Luca Chiapelli will be too bothered now that he's got that championship wrapped up, will he?
Probably not, no, but Red Bull Kim is now out on the Inters, so that's talk about brave Red Bull Kim, and there he is now trying the intermediate tyres. Maybe it's a genius decision. We'll find out, I suppose, but I think we've had quite a few invalidations in the early stages here, because you've got Sir Tom Penguin on his third lap now on these wet tyres, hasn't got a lap in. Jack Pearson's done 3 laps, hasn't got a lap in. So I think you've had a few invalidated, which is unsurprising.
Yeah,
around this track.
Lap times. Baza was 45 seconds off the pace, by the way. He's now moved up to within 1.5, so that's well inside 107% now. I don't think he was inside 207% before, but he's in now. Red Bull Kim, let's see how he gets on. 18.7 through the first sector. He was a little bit wide up at turn 1. He's locking up as well. I love this. I'm going to go back and talk about this. I love how, look at, oh, he's lost it. He's off.
Oh, it's his favourite corner.
He's done it again on those inters. I just love how Red Bull Kim just flings himself in at the deep end and just goes for it on the intermediate tyre and with no assist. And there will not be many people, I can guarantee you, in this field that run no assist like Red Bull Kim.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in TGP1. I don't run full assists. He's certainly a braver man than me. Absolutely, fair play to him. As it's got such a lot of traffic out there, isn't he? Drivers having to get out the way of others as they come through to set the laps. And of course, when you're in wet conditions and you're just consistently going round and round and getting a few laps in, you don't really know if a driver is on a hot lap or not. They might be going quite slow, but for them it could be an absolute flat-out lap.
Alex Zaffro, 19th at the minute, no time in the board, a few invalidations. Let's see what he can do. He's coming around the final corner right now, and this looks like a reasonably good lap then from Alex Zaffro. He's coming up to the line. This is going to be solid. He goes up into 5th position, a second from pole position. So it's Bossman Sean, Mike Noon, Luca Chiapelli, Neil Jack, and Alex Zaffro. I wonder if there'll be any surprise packages, because usually you get that in a wet session like this where it's fully wet, and there's people that are a little bit better in the wet than others. I know Owen Quimby, who used to race in TGP2, he races in TGP1 now, down the back of the field. What you seeing now?
Sorry, Samek, he just got a massive swapping on through turn 6, but he just saved it, because we were just talking about his wet weather pace. I think he's had a few invalidations early on. This has not been a perfect lap. It's been all over the shop. And goes 6th place, 2/10 off Alex Afro, so you have to imagine he's got a lot of time to find Sam Hickey.
Well, if he doesn't put it in the wall before he gets a good lap in, then yeah, I suppose. He's really attacking it out there. And yeah, he's one of those drivers, isn't he? We saw that in Silverstone, we've seen it in Canada, that is rapid in the wet conditions. And I'll go back to what I was saying about Owen earlier. Owen Quimby, oh, Sayre Sports has gone for a spin up there, just seems to come alive in the wet, picks up podiums and everything. And yeah. I'm like, where is he finding this pace from? And he's just something about him. He's just so good in the wet.
Yeah, absolutely. J. Luke is another one as well. Who always seems just to do incredibly well in the wet. I mean, I don't understand how they do it, to be honest. It's just I find it so difficult, particularly on this game and on the previous game as well, driving in wet conditions. It's really tough. Although, having said that, I did win my one and only race in TGP1 this season in wet at Netherlands, but that was more because of a good tyre strategy choice. But just to consistently pump in the laps in these wet conditions, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, it's incredible. And by the way, Dan, I'm going to go back to my stats man. Now, who do you think when I say the man that loves a stat is in TGP2? As Sam Hickman goes second. Who loves a stat?
I think it has to be the one and only JLT, doesn't it? Yeah,
JLT, Jakin Matto. Sorry, I'll shut up. Yeah, he has got a stat, and it's Baz's first lap. He has got a percentage for us. 161%. That's where he was outside the qualifying time. thank you, Jean, for your 107% stats. We've enjoyed them throughout the season, but that just takes the biscuit. 161% outside of pole position. There you go.
Well, fair enough, but he's not anymore, thankfully for him. Jack Pearson is out again. I think he's had 4 attempts already at a lap. 7 minutes to go. He still hasn't got one in.
Yeah, well, he needs to get one together now, doesn't he? Because...
Oh! Sorry, Andy. I think he's just done the same thing again at the same corner through turn 6. He just gets so on the edge through there. And I think he's losing him a lot of time as well. And in fact, he's going to pit.
He's going to pit, so hopefully if we can just keep things a little bit tidier through there should be enough to go quickest in his pocket. But Jack Pearson, no time as of yet. He's going really wide in there, taking the karting line, sweeps down the hill, again taking a wider line, staying away from the apex, catapults back across the track. Let's see what he can do. Currently slowest. Even Red Bull Kim is ahead of him at the minute, the Danish Viking, as Jack Pearson... Oh, look at the understeer he's got there. Heads down into the final corner. This is going to be a reasonable time, I think. Should be enough to move him up into the top 6 or 7 places, I would think. Or more than that, up into 4th. 3/4 of a second off the top time from Bossman Sean. But they're getting closer. They're reeling it in. But that, got to say, straight out the box he did that, Bossman Sean. That's a solid time right away.
Yeah, it's brilliant stuff by Bossman Sean. And as you mentioned in Silverstone as well, he was doing quite well in the wet until he got disqualified. And 5 minutes to go. And he's out once again then for his final few runs in the session, still waiting for Siton Penguin and Red Bull Kim to get a lap on the board. Mike Noon's back out there. Do you have any drivers on laps right now? I think got Dom Smith's invalidated.
Tell you what, this could be an inspired decision from Mr. John. The rain is a lot lighter. It is a lot lighter. Mr. John is out there on a set of intermediate tyres, and he looks like he's got some grip out there, Dan. He looks like he's got some grip out there. This is very interesting.
Oh, what a story this would be. It is his 451st race, but maybe you can just say he forgot about one previous in the 450 and make this his 450th if he was to suddenly put in an absolute stormer of a lap through here. Yeah. At this middle sector is, I think he's about a second off the guys at the front.
Yeah, but if he just stays... Oh no, that's not a good time to do that. Get back in here, John. No, no, John, no. The man who doesn't know anything about Pat Racer, doesn't know how it works. Well, now he doesn't know how his internet works either when it comes to TGP2, and now he's in trouble. But thankfully, there are other drivers trying it. Indecisive and Blair Grills are in the pits on inters, ready to go out. Well, some drivers have enough time to respond here. Thankfully for some of them, it's a short lap.
Alex Afro coming around the final corner. It looked like he was on a decent lap, but he went very wide in turn 8. And he only gained less than a tenth in the end as a result of that. He was, I think he was 2 or 3 tenths up actually, but messed it up in the final sector.
Chiapelli has gone out on wets, so Jack Pearson's still sitting in the box, but Chiapelli's gone on wets. Jack Pearson's going for inters, so Chiapelli might be swinging straight back into the pit lane here for a set of inters. We'll have to wait and see. Mike Noon's out there. He's going to have to go round the racetrack again before he gets to the pits if he wants inters. I think this is going to be inters. I think this is going to be inters very, very quickly.
It's definitely getting lighter, isn't it? It's getting lighter as well.
Oh, this could result in a shock pole for someone here. This is what we love, Dan, isn't it? This is what we love.
This is absolutely what we love to see. Sam Hickey, I think he's just gone purple in the first sector, though. He's still on the wet tyres.
Well, let's pick him up. Let's see if we can find him. Sam Hickman chasing pole position, denied it in the damp conditions at Silverstone last time out. Will he be denying it again? Here he goes then, through that middle sector, that long left-hander, and then you approach sector 3 for another long left-hander. Sore one on the neck, but he's 2.5 tenths down and sliding the rear. Is he overheating those wet tyres maybe? Again the back end sliding. Is he coming in?
Yeah. Well, he was 2 tenths off. Is he going to come in? I think he might. Yes. He will still be able to get one more lap, and if he does pit, and yeah, he is pitting. So Bossman Sean then 1:14.0, and he's gone. Look at that! He's 3 tenths up on this next lap as well.
He's absolutely flying out there. He's on a good
lap.
Jack
Pearson's put the inters on.
He's on the track. Is he on the track? Yeah, Indecisive's out there, and Indecisive on the inters has spun and crashed and took the front wing off. So is it ready? Is it ready? Perhaps it's not.
I'm not sure, but still on the wets. Bossman Sean is really flying, isn't he? Let's see what he's about to hit the second sector point now. Oh no! It took a bit too much curve through there at turn 5, but he's 4/10 up. He's going to get in the 113s here, I think.
Yeah, he's absolutely flying. He's going to be a mid-13, maybe even a low 13, the way he's gaining time around the lap. So Bossman Sean approaching the final couple of corners. Will it be Inters in time for some of these drivers? Jack Pearson has started an outlap. He's on the racetrack, on the Inters. Bossman Sean really pushing, almost pushing his luck on track limits. And this is going to be a 13.7, and he's now 6/10 clear at the summit here in TGP2 qualifying.
Oh, Mike Noon's off! Oh, he's still up on his lap time, but he's invalidated it as well.
Oh, imagine he was still up and completed it. That would have been nuts. Blair Grylls, we need to pick him up on the Inters. Half a second down on his previous best. Is it going to come to him in time?
I'm not sure. Just got Luca just going up into 4th place. He's committed to the wet tyres as well for his final run. Sam Hickey also on the wet tyres on an outlap.
Key fact here for Blair Grylls, if he's got the fuel, he'll get this and another lap in. So,
he's round. That's a shame.
And that's a good chance gone if the final lap was going to be Inters. That's it, wasted now on the wrong tyre. Angel Versa, and he's just spun it again. Dom Smith on an outlap, Jack Pearson on an outlap. Bossman Sean going again. Is he improving though? Let's see as he goes through the middle sector. No, he's off. He's slowed down. But Sam
Hickey's off. Chiapelli's off as well. Wow, I tell you what, they're cutting a lot of grass right now, these drivers.
Yeah, that's a Bottas approach there from Luca Chiapelli. He'll get back on just about. And does that suggest intermediates might be the tyre to be on?
Well, I wonder if the wet tyres have just had enough. Yeah, I mean, that looks like a decent first sector on the Inters for Chris Johnson. 17.7, so I think that's pretty decent.
Jack Pearson, 17.7 as well, I think. So, yes, it might be the tyre to be on. Dom Smith on an outlap as well. Angel versus Death is on a quick lap and finding time. He is finding time. So this is it then. Angel versus Death then, pushing for pole here. 10 seconds to go in qualifying. He's going to go a little bit wide. He'll keep it on the island. He's 15th quickest at the minute as Angel versus Death. It won't be pole, but it will rocket him up the order, I would think. Angel versus Death goes 13th.
Chris Johnson is the man to watch. 51.3 middle sector. He's going to rocket up the field here, I have a feeling.
I can't find him. Where is he?
He's in 12th place.
There he is.
He's about to cross the line.
Second. Half a second down. Wow.
Well, here comes Jack Pearson through the final corner. Let's see if he can do it. 51.4 middle sector. This is for pole. No.
Oh, wow, incredible. Bossman Sean's time is incredible on those tyres, isn't it? Sam Hickman out there on the wets finding time as well. I tell you he'll be furious. Who was it that spun?
It was Blake Dills, wasn't it? It was Blake Dills who spun, but Dom Smith is a 51.9 middle sector, so he's not going as quick, but he will be the last driver to cross the line, I think. We're only on the Inter tyres. Mr. John's invalidated, so this is probably the best time now for Dom. Let's see where he can jump up to.
Yep, final corner for Dom Smith. He's currently 11th. This should propel him up the order, perhaps into the top 8, perhaps even more for Dom Smith. He goes 8th. Yeah, there you go. P8 for Dom Smith. Sam Hickman's still out there, by the way, but he's bailed out. And that is that. Mr. John, though, is he on a lap? Nope, he's cruising.
No.
Finishing. Wow.
That session was just a couple of minutes longer as well, though. I think we could have seen something dramatic, but great second place for Chris Johnson, you have to say. That is superb stuff for him, but what a pole by Bossman Sean. Sam Hickey, 4th place. That's out of position for him in terms of wet weather racing.
It is, on that wet tyre. Bossman Sean, though, what an effort. Straight out of the box he was quick, wasn't he? First lap, bang, and then bang, bang towards the end of the session as it dried out a little, but kept the wet tyre on, and it worked for him. Chris Johnson joins him in the front row on the Inters. He'll be happy with that. It just makes you wonder, could Bossman Sean have gone quicker than he did at the end of the session on Inters? Perhaps it
very, very possibly, yeah. It's actually Bossman Sean's 6th pole of the season, joint with Mike Noon.
He's the pole sitter king. Well, he's sharing that throne with Mike Noon. And Bossman Sean again on top. But, I hark back to what I said. It's not all about pole positions. It's about just keeping it clean and tidy on a Sunday, not picking up penalties. Bossman Sean loves a penalty, though. Let's see if he can keep it clean and tidy in the race. He has won a couple of races, though, this season and kept it tidy at times. So he's on pole with Chris Johnson in 2nd. Jack Pearson starts from 3rd with Sam Hickman in 4th. Mike Noon lines up 5th, the championship winner. Chiapelli is 6th. Zafro 7th, Dom Smith 8th, it's Bazza 9th, and Neiljack completes the top 10. Blair Wells is 11th, Sir Tom Penguin, then Angel versus Death, Indecisive, M Shep, Sayer Sports, Mr. John, Stereogram, and Red Bull Kib completes the grid on the wet compound of tyre, having went through about 6 front wings down at Haas.
Well, enough of seeing how this goes, of course. Let's not forget, Andy, they will have free tyre choice for this.
They will have free tyre choice, and that will really be interesting, won't it? That will mix things up. Will they go for the softs? Will they go for the medium? And look at that. It's pretty cloudy, isn't it? Will we see a shock spell of rain, perhaps? Probably not. It's not in the forecast.
Well, yeah, it's not in the forecast, but I say it does look very, very dark. Just trying to have a look in the pit garages there, but looking through Williams, and it looks like Angel versus Death. Oh, he's just switched to medium tyres. He's weighing up his options right now. The red turned to yellow on the stripes, and it looks like he's going to start on the mediums. Just shame we can't see what the guys at Mercedes and Red Bull and AlphaTauri are starting on, but certainly mediums for Angel versus Death.
Well, this is it then for one final time in TGP2 in season 27. The 5 red lights are on and we are racing. It's Bossman Sean from pole position for the 6th time this year, who will lead down into turn 1, and he'll lead easily ahead of Chris Johnson in 2nd. Well, it was Mike Noon going in hard into the first corner and forcing Jack Pearson wide. We've got a Haas off in the background, and that is the Haas of Sam Hickman dropping down to the bottom of the order. Not too sure what happened to him, and we've got a safety car already, Dan.
Oh, my word. Chaos at the start then. And, well, they're all having some jumbled fan opposition they were in. By the time the safety car came out, Mike Noon went into the side of Jack, and just was in the middle of the track, causing an absolute logjam for the rest of the field. There must be a lot of damage to a lot of the drivers, I would suspect. Mike Noon down in 14th. Baz has lost 6 positions down in 15th. And Sam Hickey just flew off to the right-hand side, and he's got damage as well. So a chaotic start.
Yeah, damage for him, and I'd imagine damage for Mike Noon. He hit a few cars pretty hard. He has got damage. They're going to have to queue down at Red Bull. Baz has got damage down there as well. So it's going to be a real messy return to the pit lane for the Team Red Bull. Chiapelli, by the way, he's got damage too. So many cars have got damage here, and they're all going to have to pour into the pits.
I think it's really just... Oh, Chris Johnson's pitting. Chris Johnson is pitting. So I don't think he's got damage, but is he going to put mediums on, go to the end possibly?
Yeah, I think so many drivers are going to go with that strategy, but who else will do it? Chiapelli, Zafro, Penguin. Oh, they're going to have to queue down at Renault as well. Goodness me.
Oh, this...
Yeah,
we've got it.
Go on, Dan.
As I say, we've got Chris Johnson going on the hard tyres. Chris Johnson's put the hards on to the end of the race.
Oh, this is absolutely crazy. So many stops happening at once here. Chris Johnson on the hard tyre to the end. Bossman Sean, Dom Smith, Angel versus Death, Sayer Sports, Mr. John, Bazza and Stereogram, and Red Bull Kim and Indecisive have all stayed out. Everyone else is in. And is M Shep in, or is he just... Has M Shep pitted? No, he's not.
No, M Shep did not pit.
Okay, so he's lost a lot of ground there then. So Chris Johnson, Jack Pearson, Alex Zafro net 3rd then, essentially, as a result of this, with Neiljack in 4th. Chiapelli would be net 5th as well, but let's see if they can make their way through the field on those medium tyres. We've got a really topsy-turvy race here now, potentially, don't we?
Well, there we go. It's like the last day of school, isn't it? This is going to get really, really frantic. Final race of the season. Championships being decided. There's still positions to be decided further down the field, though, of course. And they're going to absolutely go for it once this race restarts. It's 18-lap race. Bazza, you said Bazza had damage, didn't you? And he's on the medium tyres, so decided not to pit. So I wonder if he's just thought, I'm on the mediums, I'm just going to have to just try and stick it out for the time being.
Surely he's coming in. He can't continue with that. He's just going to go backwards. Let's see if he does. Mr. John's coming in, and Bazza, he's coming in.
Yeah, he is coming in.
Oh,
no, he's not!
Oh, that was late. That was very late. Mr. John briefly takes the lead as he goes into the pit lane, and then loses it. And he comes in now. So Mr. John... I don't know why he left it a lap later, because he probably would have got ahead a lot of those guys with damage, and now he's going to be behind them all. Yeah,
it's a good point. Alex Zafro, of course, had the speed in the pit lane, didn't he? And will get 5 seconds added to his time. Might have been a wise... It could have maybe pitted on this lap as well. Might have been a wise idea to pit on this lap and get rid of that penalty, but of course then he would be sacrificing his current 11th place, and who's to say he's not going to pull away and gain 5 seconds over a lot of the drivers once this race restarts. the pace of the Renaults in the final couple of weeks has been quite incredible, really, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm actually very impressed. They've really, buckled down and picked up incredible form. Incredibly, a podium in there as well for Sir Tom Penguin, which is probably, I think it's fair to say, the least likely of the Renaults you'd expect to be on the podium. But he kept his nose clean and it's worked out brilliantly. And the Renault team have just, worked wonders. They've, sacrificed everything, including work at times this season, to get both cars on the grid, and it's beginning to pay back wonderfully well. And they're now a solid fixture in the top 10 of the order, incredibly. You wouldn't have said that at the start of the season, would you?
No, certainly not. Safety car restart then. Safety car is about to come in. Bossman Sean becomes the de facto safety car. He's got Dom Smith behind him in second place, who decides to stay out. The new TGP Day champion, of course, let's not forget.
Yep, well, the cars then are coming round the final part of the lap, and we're about to go racing here at Austria once again. Into the final corner they go, and Bossman Sean leads the pack away from Dom Smith in second and Angel versus Death in third. Will they be caught or not by the drivers who've already made a pit stop? Let's wait and see. For me, Dan, I personally would have stayed out. I think I was I would have pitted. I don't see the benefit of not taking the free pit stop when it's available, but through the first corner they go. It's Bossman Sean leading from Dom Smith, Angel versus Death, and then down further in the order we've got Stereogram up in sixth, Red Bull Kim in seventh, and we've got a move here potentially from Jack Pearson on Chris Johnson, and this is big in the context of this race. Jack Pearson down the outside of Chris Johnson. Is he going to run into the back? Almost there of Indecisive. He's forced wide, and Chris Johnson holds the high ground and holds the position, and that now allows Alex Safro to get onto the tail of these two. Remember, this is for the net lead of the race when everyone in front pits. Chris then,
good defense
from Jack. Look at this from Zafro trying to go round the outside of Jack Pearson. Can't do that and has to concede.
It was good defensive driving from Chris Johnson, considering he's on the hard tyres, so it'll take a bit longer for his tyres to be warmed up. But Jack Pearson wanted to get that move done straight away, didn't he? Could not do it. Chris Johnson on those hard tyres, and he's right behind Indecisive now, who struggled through there. I wonder if he'll have a run on him down in turn 8. This is an incredibly risky place to go for a manoeuvre, and backs out of it.
Yeah, backs out of it, but this is going to help the guys who have not stopped, isn't it? They're all so slow with Chris Johnson struggling on the hard tyre, and Indecisive is not the quickest either off the mark. So this is a real chance for the guys further up the road to pull clear and build a gap in this stage of the race. Red Bull Kim runs very, very wide at turn 1. Indecisive will have a run on him. Chris Johnson will have a run on the pair of them going up the hill. Sear Sports further up the road has got ahead of Angel versus Death. They're battling, but we need to stick with this. Red Bull Kim defends the inside. Indecisive tries the outside. They've both gone off. They're both way too deep into the corner. And through goes Chris Johnson. And through goes Jack Pearson on both of them as well. Look at Jack Pearson. Incredible speed. He cuts through the middle of Red Bull Kim, who has to take evasive action, and sweeps past Chris Johnson and takes 7th place. Wow!
Oh, it's absolutely amazing from Jack Pearson. I think he's probably drained his battery though doing that, but it doesn't matter. He's up in 7th. He's got past Chris Johnson, who he wants to get past. Red Bull Kim is all over the place now. Alex Safro's trying to make his way through. Oh, he's stuck in between the pair of them.
Oh, it's absolute drama in the midfield. Zafro trying everything to get past Kim. It's like the M8 at rush hour at the minute, folks, in that midfield. It's so jam-packed. Unbelievable. And Red Bull Kim holds on to 9th place, and Alex Zafro is getting increasingly frustrated behind. Look at the train of cars behind Red Bull Kim across the start-finish line. There is about 11 cars, I think, in a line behind him here. Incredible.
And Mike Noon just goes and shoots one up the inside of Alex Zafro and makes a stick. Sits on Penguin's off and in the wall.
Sir Tom Penguin behind that is in the wall. We'll get to that in a minute as Zafro comes straight back at Mike Noon. Zafro then on the inside. Red Bull Kim holding them up so much. Look at Indecisive. Oh, Indecisive there. I thought we were going to have a moment from one of the Mercedes from yesterday.
Yeah,
We didn't quite get it. Red Bull Kim is overtaken though by Mike Noon, and now Alex Zafro. Red Bull Kim, he might even pass the pair of them. He's having a look at Mike Noon, can't quite do it. Red Bull Kim locks up, goes wide, through goes Giapelli, through goes Neljak, through goes Indecisive, and Red Bull Kim is really dropping down the order now. He's doing what I did yesterday. Unbelievable.
Wow, oh, and a big collision. Sam Hickey's hit the back of Indecisive, and Mr. John's got into the sides of him as well. So Sam Hickey will have damage again now. Alex Safro picks up a penalty.
Oh my goodness, drama everywhere. Tom Penguin, he's got damage too. Absolute chaos in the midfield. Red Bull Kim now looks like he's coming in for that pit stop at the end of this lap. But what a hectic few laps here in Austria as Jack Pearson now sets about Stereogram and Baza, who've yet to stop.
Yeah, so we've got Jack Pearson then is effectively the net race leader at this stage, isn't he? And he's going for the move on Stereogram here for 6th place. Chris Johnson just behind in a net second. Jack Pearson, is he going to make that move? Is Stereogram going to fight back? No, he does not. And it is 6th place then. Look at that, we've got 5 drivers in the pits after that lap.
Well, no wonder. Absolute mayhem, wasn't it? Red Bull kept indecisive. Mr. John, Sir Tom Penguin and Blair Grills, the drivers, making a stop on that lap. So Bossman Sean leads from Dom Smith and Sayer Sports. They're all yet to make a pit stop, as is Angel versus Death, as is Baza, who's got wing damage. So Jack Pearson, if I were you, approach with caution, bide your time, and make the move. Doesn't need to rush.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Oh my God, Jack's there, he just lost it! And Stereogram's having to take the grass!
He takes the grass and takes the place, and Chris Johnson says, oh no you don't, I'm taking 6th place, and passes the pair of them. Oh no, Chris goes wide, and Stereogram says, okay, I'll take it back nearly. Jack Pearson goes alongside 2, we're 3 wide down to turn 1. Unbelievable! And Jack Pearson is retaking the pair of them. Unbelievable! Jack now wide. And now Chris Johnson is in the slipstream behind Jack Pearson. Positions changing corner by corner at the minute here in TGP 2. Chris Johnson down the inside perhaps on Jack Pearson. No, it's too far back and thinks better of it. And Chris Johnson gets a slap in the rear from Stereogram, who then loses ground and loses out to Jack Pearson, to Mike Noon as well. Wow.
That was incredible, wasn't it? Creating their own little layout, and it was making for high excitement. Mike Noon, oh my word, and he goes to the back of Chris Johnson. It's amazing how late they are on the brakes as he approached turn 3 there. Stereogram was just behind as well and luckily avoided contact. So Jack Pearson then is back in a net race lead. Eventually it's all sorted itself and almost corrected itself again, I suppose you could say, after that crazy lap.
Yeah, that wasn't the Red Bull ring. I don't know, was that the Alpha Tauri ring? I don't know what it was, but it wasn't the Red Bull ring they were driving round. But
I think that was the Rich Energy ring.
Perhaps it was, because of course it was a bit ridiculous, and that's exactly what Rich Energy are.
Yes.
But anyway, Mike Noon.
Not the views of TGPSeries.
Not the views of TGPSeries, indeed. As Chiapelli passes Alex Zaffro down into turn 1, but I think he might get repassed in a few moments' time. Is further up the road. Mike Noon attacking Chris Johnson now on those hard tyres. Goes left, goes right, goes down the inside. That's way too late, and he's heading off onto the Rich Energy ring as well, and rejoins behind Chris Johnson again. Wow.
Well, is Mike Noon still going to have a run on him down into turn 3? Will he have another go? Will he be super late on the brakes once again? He is super late on the brakes once again!
And that's heading off to the Rich Energy ring again as well, but he just about keeps it on the racetrack. And Chris Johnson retains the place. Here goes Mike Noon again! He just loves sticking his nose in there and hoping for the best. And he hoped for the best again, but thankfully his nose was not long enough to make contact with Chris Johnson, and he gets away with it. Wow!
Unbelievable stuff, isn't it, really? It's incredible the moves Mike Noon's attempting. The championship's over and he is just going for to finish as high up as he possibly can. Looks like Sam Hickey's off and we've got a virtual safety car, Andy.
Oh, and that is horrendous timing for the guys at the front, because they could have made a pit stop there and rejoined ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely right. It would have been perfect, wouldn't it? But now they've got to do at least this lap. Yeah, they came out just as you were approaching turn 1, turn 2, didn't they? And Bossman Sean, well, he's still quite a far way away from the pit lane, isn't he? And I have a feeling this virtual safety car might not be too long. Certainly won't be long to last a pit stop for Bossman Sean and the rest.
Yeah, well, I'll be hoping it doesn't end until he's in the pit lane, but I can't see it. That would be a full lap behind VSC, and even though it's a short track, I don't think it's going to work out for him, but you'll be gutted. It couldn't have came out at a worse time. Incredible.
Yeah, I think it was as a result of that spin for Sam Hickey. Back underway, just as Bossman Sean is approaching the pit entry, and let's see if we get any instant moves.
Well, we'll see further down the field. We've got moves. We've got no movement in the pit lane for Bossman Sean just yet. He's staying out. As we go further down the order, we've got Luca Chiapelli battling away with Mike Noon and Chris Johnson in there for what is essentially the lead of this race, isn't it? Behind Jack Pearson. It's for second at the minute, but Jack Pearson has got a 1.6 second lead over Chris Johnson at the minute. As who's that running wide? Mike Noon.
It was Mike Noon, and Luca's going to go through.
Yeah, he does. He sails past them and just makes it clear. That's why I'm the champion, and he is up into 7th position.
So got Mike Noon and Chris Johnson, who also both have penalties at this stage now, as well as Sam Hickey comes out of the pit lane, but he will of course ghost because he is a lapped driver. Jack Pearson, oh wow, nearly loses it. and Chiapelli as well nearly lost it.
Yeah, that was a really bold move there from Chiapelli up the inside of Chris Johnson. And now Chris Johnson was kind of forced out the way. And now look at Mike Noon going round the outside of Chris Johnson. And Mike Noon's going to turn that into a move up the inside of look at Chiapelli. That was a bit crazy, a bit wild, but he's made it work. And I don't think he's going to be on look at Chiapelli or Chris Johnson's Christmas card list for too much longer. Wow.
It's unbelievable the moves that Mike Noon's go for this race, but it worked for him. He just picked up another penalty. That's not worked for him. But well, I have a feeling quite a few of the drivers will be taking him off the Christmas card list after this one.
Yeah, incredible stuff here at the Red Bull Ring as we've got a pit stop in the form of Joe Sayer. Let's see where he rejoins the race then on those fresh tyres. That could be interesting.
Oh, Jack Pearson's got off at turn 1. He went very wide. I thought he was going to lose it, but he didn't. He's got this win in the palm of his hands right now, hasn't he? He's just got to stay cool.
Stay cool, stay calm. Everyone behind him has got penalties as they all battle for position. The other three in the chasing group. And the longer they keep battling, the easier this gets for Jack Pearson.
Yeah, I mean, they're all fighting amongst themselves, aren't they? Mike Noon's going to go for it again here, I think.
Well, if he goes for it from there, that would be absolutely wild. But he's not going to go for it this time, thankfully. And there's no contact. Are we going to get a pit stop this time from any one of the leaders? We've got Angel versus Death, by the way, going side by side with Jack Pearson. And Jack Pearson, round the outside he goes and gets it done. And has put a car between he and the chasing group.
Great move, and wow, it was a risky one as well, wasn't it? But you managed to make it stick. And looks like Angel versus Death will now come into the pit lane, which will be great for Chiapelli.
Bossman Sean is in the pits right now. He's putting on a fresh set of the medium compound tyre. Where is he going to rejoin? It looks like it's going to be in second, but he's got 10 lap fresher tyres. Is he going to be second? It looks like he's going to be third or fourth here on the pit exit. Let's see where he is. Fifth even.
Close.
Oh, look at that. Very, very, very close with Chris Johnson. But he's got to be the favourite for this win now. I didn't think he'd be that close to this group. And look at that, he's going to be on the inside of Chris Johnson. And he's through on Chris Johnson. Surely he is. Mike Noon runs wide as well. And that might be another car that Bossman Sean fancies clearing immediately. And he will clear him immediately. He's absolutely flying, there's the Irishman. Well, he's going for it here, and he knows Mike Noon loves a move up the inside, and that's exactly what he does again, and gets back through. But Bossman Sean is in a hurry here. He's got a race to win. He's got 2 cars to catch on 10 lap older tyres, but they'll have to wait a little bit longer because Mike Noon is back in front.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's going for it again. Oh, wow.
Oh, taking a leaf out of Mike Noon's book there, and that could have ended in tears. You've just got to be patient, Sean. There's no need for that. You've got 10 lap fresher tyres. You should get him, and you should get the others if you just wait to the DRS zone.
Well, I mean, all season we've seen Mike Noon and Jack have some great battles, but now Jack will want him to fight Bossman Sean all the way, but he's going for it again. Oh!
Mike Noon covers it off, and he hits the back of him there, does Bossman Sean, but he's surely going to have the run now. Let's go on board with Chris Johnson, who's got a perfect view of this. Bossman Sean ahead of Mike Noon. Mike Noon's going to go diving down the inside again, isn't he? Surely he'll overshoot. No, he doesn't. He gets it just right. Squeezes Bossman Sean up against the curb. But surely when it comes to tyre performance and traction and grip, Bossman Sean will be through. He won't get to the inside line though, which is where he needs to be. And Mike Noon will just do the same thing again. Oh, no, he won't. Sean tries to sneak underneath him, but he can't do that. And Mike Noon defends brilliantly.
But every corner this last just gets better and better for Jack Pearson. He's got Luca closing in on him, but Luca has the penalties as well, of course. So Jack will be screaming at Mike Noon saying, now keep him behind you. Keep him behind you. Bossman Sean's all over him. He's pushing him along.
He's almost trying to make a move into turn 8 and 9. That's very brave. Oh, my word. Almost going for it down the inside there. That would have been an airplane crash. But still, Bossman Sean cannot get a move done on Mike Noon. And now this race is getting a bit frantic, and now he really does need to pass him. Oh.
Yeah, very nearly the Red Bull Air show there, wasn't it, through turn 8 if they made contact. But Bossman Sean's going to have another run. Chiapelli might have a run on Jack for the lead as well. There we go, the side by side. And he's through, Bossman Sean.
Bossman Sean's through, and Chiapelli's through as well on Jack Pearson. Jack Pearson tries to cut back underneath, but he can do nothing. And he's now through and up into the lead, but now he's going to come straight back at him. Jack Pearson fighting with Chiapelli. Round the outside goes Jack Pearson in the Mercedes. Chiapelli keeps his foot in, and he just about clings on. Contact! There's contact. They bang wheels, but Jack Pearson regains the place. And that allows Bossman Sean to gain.
And Mike Noon's gone for one risk too far, and he is in the wall, and he is off, and he's in 7th place. And, well, I have a feeling the drivers towards the front might be a bit happy to see him fall down the field.
I think they'll be absolutely delighted. He was a thorn in Bossman Sean's side, who's now 1.9 seconds from the lead of this race, but he's got 11 lap fresher tyres. Surely he's going to get to them, because they're still battling, and Chiapelli's going for it again. Down the inside into turn 1, surely that's a brave move. It is a brave move. He's late on the brakes. He's got it stopped. He's got the lead again. Epic
Jack's
stuff.
going to come back at him.
He is going to come back at him. Excellent stuff from Chiapelli to get that stopped. And Jack Pearson now is going to go hunting down the inside perhaps. He switches to the inside, dives back to the outside. It's cost him time though. It's cost him pace. And he's now 6/10 back from Luca. And now Bossman Sean has got to be his main threat.
It's a horrible situation for Jack Pearson because Luca has a 6-second penalty. So really, he could just let him drive off. But I suppose if you're right there behind him and it's such a short track, and you might as well just go for the move. You can't got really anywhere else to go. So it's costing him so much time, and Bossman Sean is closing in.
He is closing in, and an element of Jack Pearson's defence is the fact that he was ahead of Luca. But he's lost that armour now, and well, Bossman Sean moving into race-winning opportunism here. He's looking very good for it, isn't he?
Well, there's 2 laps to go. I don't think Luca's going to pull out 6 seconds. I mean, that really would be a driver champion if he was to somehow pull out 6 seconds here. Tell you what, if these two battle for the next 2 laps, it's possible.
Yeah, well, it depends how much they battle and to what ferocity it results in. Sir Tom Penguin has retired from this race in the middle sector somewhere. No safety cars, we've ran out of those. As Jack Pearson, I think his best option now is just to keep getting DRS from Luca.
Yeah, it's a good point, isn't it? Yeah, and he's got DRS now, and he's closing back in again on Luca Chiapelli here, and he's having to stop the car, make sure he doesn't run into the back of him. Bossman Sean is gaining and watching, and he's closing in. There's a lap and a half to go.
Well, that car behind is no longer a red and white dot. It's a massive item in Jack Pearson's rear view mirrors, and he's going to have to get a little bit concerned now because he's getting a little bit squirmish off that corner, and now Bossman Sean is right there. But as long as Jack Pearson keeps getting DRS...
Oh, he's got a penalty!
Oh my goodness! And that now hands it on a plate to Bossman Sean. But we know Bossman Sean loves a penalty or two, so don't rule that out on the final lap. Down to turn 1. Oh, look at that! Go on, Dan.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. But Jam Hickey's out of the race, and Jack Pearson is out of VRS. Bossman Sean, will he go for it?
No, he won't. He'll wait. He'll know now that Jack is a penalty. He surely knows he doesn't need to do it. These drivers love to make the moves on the track, though, and Jack Pearson is now right in the DRS. He's got overtaking use. He's going to go attacking on Luca Chiapelli, is he? Will he get close enough? He's going to look at, wow, all over the road, trying to make a move, but he's not going to get there. And this race is going to turn into a bit of a damp squib, isn't it? Unbelievably. Bossman Sean,
well, yeah.
Oh, look at Jack Pearson, so wide, he'll do well to save that. He does, and Bossman Sean tries to potentially do it on the road then. Chiapelli is going to be the first across the line, but it won't win him the race, I don't think.
I don't think it will. Final corner, and unless Bossman Sean has a big moment now, he's going to win it.
Yeah, Bossman Sean's realised Jack's penalty and he's just keeping it tidy. Luca wins across the line. Jack Pearson then will take it off him, but Bossman Sean, for once, doesn't pick up any time penalties. It seems like every time I mention that he gets a lot of penalties, he doesn't get any and wins the race. And that's exactly what he's done in the final race of the season. And Bossman Sean picks up another solid win. If he can do that more consistently next season, it could be a championship challenge.
Well, I mentioned that it'd be like the last day of term. And wow, that was really exciting, crazy stuff, wasn't it? Mike Noon's got himself somehow a 15-second penalty as he crosses the line in 11th place. I don't think he's going to stay there. You know what? This might be an entirely pointless night for Mike Noon at this rate. Might just escape. Might get to pick up a few points yet. 12th place. He will stay 12th. But well, what a fantastic race that was to end the season, Andy.
Yeah, what a fantastic race. Bossman Sean then taking the win. And I think your analogy is perfect. It is the last day of term, and they've treated it like that. It was absolutely wild. It was. And Bossman Sean takes the win from Jack Pearson and Luca Chiapelli in third. Chris Johnson fourth, fifth for Dom Smith. Alex Safro didn't see much of the Reynolds today, did we, in the second half of that race? They're usually at the forefront of the action, not today. Only 6th for Alex Safro, and I think actually the other one of Tom Penguin ended his season early. And
he did, yeah.
He's on the trip back to London. As we have a look at the final standings, or the final race result.
I didn't know Penguins lived in London, Andy.
Oh, sorry. I've let my guard slip. He's on his way back to the South Pole. Apologies. There was me. There was me mentioning in Silverstone about how he's racing in this rain instead of the snow, and I failed to keep that up for the whole stream. Sorry. I'm sorry, Dan. But there you go. Top step of the podium. It's Bossman Sean. Yet again this season. If you could just be more consistent, you could be a championship contender in the future. But this night belongs to Luca Chiapelli. He is champion, managing a race before the end. Could you imagine he had that race to go through to win the championship? It would have been absolutely wild. But in the end, Bossman Sean wins from Jack Pearson second and Chiapelli third. Chris Johnson coming home a solid fourth after looking like he could have won it, but I think the hard tyre was his downfall. Dom Smith, he came home in 5th with Alex Zafro 6th and Neil Jack 7th. Sear Sports, solid points in 8th with Baza 9th. Angel versus Death coming home a solid 10th. Blue Girls 11th. Mike Noon, another forgettable day. Again, just too erratic. Finishing in 12th. Stereogram 13th. M Shep 14th. Indecisive 15th. Red Bull Kim was next. Sam Hickman had a day to forget 17th. Mr. John. Sir Tom Penguin, the last of the drivers, and he did not see the checkered flag, Dan. But your driver of the day from the Austrian Grand Prix.
Driver of the day, I suppose, would have to be Bossman Sean. I have to say, I thought he messed it up when he didn't pit on the first lap, but he managed to fight his way through the field, and he fully deserved that victory. Dom as well, of course, he also stayed out and managed to come home 5th in the end. It was a shame for Chris Johnson, wasn't it? Had that great qualifying, but I think going to the hard tyres was probably the wrong decision, and came home in 4th place. And Luca, still somehow, even with starting 6th place, he manages to find his way. Well, he won the race on the road, didn't he? But still managed to get a podium as well. And that is why he is the champion.
Yep, congratulations to Luca Chiapelli. An incredible season. Strong, solid, consistent throughout. Kept the pressure on his rivals, and they crumbled away. And in the end, he has won Season 27 of the TGP2 series. And I've got to say, it has been an absolute pleasure to bring you the commentary throughout the season. It's been an absolute pleasure as well to be joined by yourself, Dan, in the commentary box. I think we've had a lot of fun this season, haven't we?
It has. It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, I've absolutely loved it, and I think we may well be back on May the 5th for a Champion of Champions special for celebrate 10 years of TGP.
Yeah, May the 5th be with you. Yeah, me and Dan coming back for that special event on May the 5th. Be sure to join us for that one, folks. But Dan, before we go, your moment of the season.
Moment of the season, I have to say, I really enjoyed the race in Canada when Sam won his first race. That was a crazy race in the wet. The race in China, we had loads of battles, didn't we? That was a frantic race. And then in Vietnam as well, race afterwards, we thought it was going to be a poor race, but we ended up having a brilliant battle between Luca and Mike Nguyen, which was excellent, wasn't it? But I think overall, the absolute moment of the season has to be Azerbaijan. Just the entire race was a classic. It was all over the place. It was an unbelievable podium. And yeah, that was definitely one that's going to live long in the memory, I think, with all TGP fans.
Yeah, I would have to agree, Dan. I think my moment of the season is watching Chris Johnson run into the side one of his podium rivals.
Del Jack, wasn't it?
Yeah, and spin and hand Tom Penguin a podium. It's very rare I find myself laughing and struggling for a word in the commentary box. I mean, the only other time it's happened was also in TGP when we had a Lotus roadblock, for goodness sake, at Monaco down at Sandevot. But yeah, that was definitely my moment of the season as well. But yeah, all those great memories, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more to come in the world of TGP. Be sure to join us then on that 5th of May as Dan and I bring you another fantastic TGP event. But yeah, that's all from myself, Ginger Andy, and from Dan the man for this season. Luca is champion. He is the king of TGP2. Good night.